Revenge, my friend, is a darkness that threatens to consume us from within. It's a path that may seem tempting, but in truth, it's a treacherous journey that leads to nothing but pain, regret, and the loss of one's own humanity. Let me take you through the depths of this treacherous path and explain why revenge is a road that no one should tread. First, let me be clear. I understand the allure of revenge. I felt it myself. The burning anger that surges through you when someone you care about is wronged, the desire for justice to be served swiftly and decisively. But here's the thing. Revenge is a double-edged sword, and it's all too easy to become ensnared by its seductive promises. Revenge blinds us, clouds our judgment, and distorts our sense of right and wrong. It makes us lose sight of our principles and the very values we hold dear. It's like a poison that seeps into our soul, corroding our humanity and leaving us as little more than shadows of our former selves. When we become revengeful, we allow our emotions to dictate our actions. We let anger and hatred rule our decisions, and in doing so, we relinquish control over our own destiny. Revenge turns us into creatures of impulse, driving us to commit acts that we may later come to regret. I've seen individuals, good people at their core, succumb to the siren call of revenge. They become consumed by their desire for vengeance, and in the process, they abandon the very principles that once defined them. It's a tragic transformation, one that leaves them hollow, broken, and ultimately defeated. Revenge also perpetuates a never-ending cycle of violence. It's a cycle that spirals out of control, as one act of revenge begets another and another, until there's no end in sight. It's a vicious cycle that only leads to more suffering and pain for all involved. Consider the criminals and villains of Gotham City. Many of them are motivated by a desire for revenge, whether it's against society, their own past, or even me. They believe that revenge will somehow bring them satisfaction, that it will fill the void inside them. But what they fail to realize is that revenge is an empty promise, a fleeting illusion of closure that never truly arrives. Revenge also blinds us to the collateral damage it inflicts. When we're consumed by our quest for vengeance, we often fail to see the innocent bystanders who are caught in the crossfire. We become so fixated on our target that we lose sight of the bigger picture, of the lives that hang in the balance. I've witnessed firsthand the consequences of revenge-driven actions. I've seen families torn apart, communities shattered, and lives irreparably damaged. It's a painful reminder that revenge not only harms the object of our anger, but also those who happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But perhaps the most insidious aspect of revenge is that it never truly satisfies. It's a bottomless pit of desire, an insatiable hunger that can never be quenched. Even when we exact our revenge, we find that it leaves us empty and unfulfilled. It's like trying to fill a void in our hearts with something that can never truly replace what was lost. Now you might wonder how I, as Batman, reconcile my own desire for justice with the dangers of revenge. It's a fine line to walk, my friend, but I've learned that true justice is not about vengeance. It's about upholding the law, ensuring that those who commit crimes face the consequences of their actions, and protecting the innocent. I've also come to understand that the pursuit of justice must be tempered with compassion and empathy. It's about striving to rehabilitate those who have gone astray, to give them a chance to reform and become productive members of society. It's about recognizing that every life has value, even those who have caused harm. Revenge blinds us to these principles of justice and compassion. It narrows our focus to a single-minded pursuit of punishment, and in doing so, it blinds us to the potential for redemption and forgiveness. It closes the door on the possibility of healing and growth, both for ourselves and for those we seek revenge against. In my darkest moments, I've come close to crossing that line, to succumbing to the temptation of revenge. But I've always reminded myself of the higher purpose I serve, the mission I've dedicated my life to. I've chosen to be a symbol of hope and justice, not a harbinger of vengeance. So, my friend, as you contemplate the notion of revenge, I implore you to consider the cost, not only to those you seek to harm, but also to yourself. Remember that revenge is a path that leads to darkness, and once you've stepped onto it, it's incredibly difficult to find your way back. Instead, strive for a higher purpose, one that values justice, compassion, and the potential for redemption. It's a path that may be more challenging, but it's one that ultimately leads to a brighter, more hopeful future.